Okay, turn your back. No, turn your front, please. Wow. To make this design, I'll be cutting the front first, and to do that, I have to fold my fabric into two like this. Waist of the baby is 28 and the bust is 26. So I'm going to use the waist to do the bust as well because they are babies and they don't need their clothes to be tight. So up here is the shoulder and you measure out 1 inch line here. That is the shoulder, and you take it down here to 6. 6 is the arm length and the baby's half length is 11 plus half an inch seam sewing allowance. This is going to be the half length, and I'm going to attach the pleated lower pattern. So here is 28 divided by 4 is going to be 7. This is 7 plus half an inch seam sewing allowance, and this like this. Then the baby's shoulder is 9, so 9 divided by 2 is going to be 4.5 plus half an inch seam sewing allowance to connect to this place. But because our arm length is not squared like this, so you just have to curve it. And the neck, you don't want it too wide. The neck is going to be 2 inches, and after sewing is going to be 2.5 here. You don't want it too deep, so I'm going to make it 3 inches. And I'll curve it. So after sewing is going to be 3.5. For some babies 4 is okay for them, but I don't want it too deep. And here you slant it here. Then now I'm going to cut off this. Remember, here is 7 plus half inch seam sewing allowance. On the waist is not straight, so from here you're going to curve it to give it a better fitting on the waistline. With this, I'm going to use this to trace out the back. So to trace the back, you have to extend it to 1 inch allowance for the zip here. And then at the back, everything is going to be same, but here is going to be a bit low. And instead of cutting here, I will extend it here. And this is my zip allowance. And this is what you have now. This is the front, and this two piece is the back. So to make the facing, I'll still leave it as folded as it was. For the front facing, I'll still fold my fabric. And I'm going to cut this way. Up to here. From here, I will extend it to 2.5. So with this, I'll place it and I will sew like this. To cut out the back, placing my fabric like this. And marking down 2.5 here. And I will sew here and here. To cut out the sleeves accurately, remember, 1/2 inch here is the same sewing allowance. So I place half and I measure around the arm. And the 7.5, I take out half from the back one and I measure is 7.5, making it 15. Her sleeve length is 13. And from here, I'll check 13 plus 1.5 inch for hemming. I will mark down 2 inches here. So from here, and her sleeve round is 10. So I'll come to the middle here, which is supposed to be like her arm and elbow. I will mark out the 10 plus 1/2 inch seam sewing allowance. So from here, I'm going to go down like this. And that is going to be to make sure that it's up to 7.5. And I will add in, so this is 7.5, then I will add in 1/2 inch seam sewing allowance. So from here, I will take it down like this. And then when it comes to the wrist, I will make sure it's smaller. So it's 2 inches down from the main point of the sleeve down. Here, I forgot to say that you have to make it straight because you're going to hem. I went ahead to cut off the lengthy half length, which is, if the waist of the baby you're making for is 2, you multiply 2 into 3 to give you the exact material, the measurement that you need for the half length for the skirt part. So her waist is 28, so I went ahead to cut out 28 by 3. You can see is a long lengthy fabric. So this is going to be the waist. I'm going to pleat it like this. So first I make out where is the center of the fabric and make a notch. So this is where I know to be the center. I already checked. This is it. So from here, from your center mark here, you lay it flat. And you start by, depending on how big or how big you want the box pleat to be, so you can make for a baby, you start with 1.5 and you pull about 3 inches. So from here, I'm going to show you in this video now. So like about 1.5, but it's left for you here to decide. And you pull about 3 inches. You can try this method and keep checking to see that your fabric is enough. And from here, make sure it's about 1.5. So make sure, because here is the center, so this is like half of this one, which is 1. I'm going to make it 1. So when I pull this part 2, it's going to be 2, not more than 2. So like this, not more than 2, because if it's adult, you can make the box pleat 3 inches, but this is for a toddler. So this not more than 2. You pull the next one. So I'm making sure it's not more than 2. So our goal is to make sure that from this center here to here is not more than 15. So from here, so 28 divided by 2 is 14 plus 1 inch zip allowance. So this is what we want to achieve. And from the center you measure to make sure it is. So I got it here. This is 16. So this is where I'm going to have my zipper here. And the little bit left, I will cut it off. Then what I've done here, I will repeat it on this side. I have finished pinning this. What I have to do now is to go to the machine and I'm going to sew it just straight line onto the fabric so that it stays permanently for the belt making. So this is called the statement belt, big and fashionable. So it's going to be 4 inches. So that is 4 by 32. And at the end here, that is 4 inches, I'm going to mark here, and I make sure that is triangular in shape. So like after tying the belt at the back, it's going to look like a bow. So I'm going to sew 1/2 inch all the way to this place, and I'll repeat that to the other piece of my belt. So to make the sleeves first, to sew the sleeves, you fold into half, and then you sew 1/2 inch. Here you have the 2 sleeves. The belt, after sewing, make sure you cut off here so it can point properly. Cut here so that it's well relaxed on the neck. Make sure you top stitch. So I will now go ahead and overlock. So to stiffen the neckline, the interface, I'm using the fabric glue. I turned out the belt, and now it's the top stitch. So what I do is that I measure it to 4 inches, so they're all same. And the next thing is for me to hem the bottom. The next thing is to overlock the edges. Now, the next thing is to join the sides together. Here, here. So I forgot to say, before you join, you make sure the belts where you top stitch, you put it down. So you put it here, and so, and you put here down to here, same. So to add the sleeve, you just have to pin it round. So I'm going to do a little pleat here on the shoulder, and I'll do that to the other sleeve. So after joining the sleeves together, you know this is the middle, and this is the center of the skirt. And you pin it together. So I'm going to sew it straight and overlock. Finally, I would add my zipper. Okay, turn your back.